All right, welcome back. Todd Morris with you here on the Bulldog Radio Network, and it's time to sit down with UMS-Wright head football coach Terry Curtis for our weekly pregame interview. And Coach, Helena rolled into Cooper Stadium last Friday night, 9-0 in the season, and highly ranked 6A team. And then going in at halftime, we look up at the scoreboard and we're up 24-0. What was going through your mind when you saw that?
What was going through yours?
Well, I was going, really?
Yeah,
really? They're a top-ranked 6A team?
I don't know if it'll find out this week according to how they do with Bay Minette, whether they took us lightly or didn't prepare or didn't make the trip well and stuff. They'll have 100 excuses. But now the coach didn't. He said he's told everybody in Birmingham and everywhere else, y'all, that they just whipped us every which way you could whip somebody. And we played with a lot of emotion. Like I told you last week, we treated it kind of like a practice playoff game. We want to get that emotion because now we've got to have it every week.
Right.
Winning a big game like that, that's fine and good. But like I said, that was a practice game.
Right.
Now, the one this week matters. So hopefully we'll carry it over. It seems like it in practice this week has been good, and they understand now what we can do if we play like that.
But the final score last week, 31-0, and I know going into it, I don't think we all thought it would be that big of a score. But as Michael Knapp talked about it in the booth last week, we're just going to be positive. We played really well. We played really well up front. Our line controlled the game both offensively and defensively. Barton had a good game, and, of course, Cole had a good game.
Yeah, and you've watched enough film, Todd. You watch one, and it's never as good as it seems. And even when you think you play horrible,
right,
it's never as bad as it seems. And that was the way we have still got some technique issues and some lineup issues and stuff. But, it was like we overcame a lot of it with just hard play and getting after folks and gang tackling and running to the football. And like I told them after the game, they looked like for the first time in about 3 weeks they were having fun playing football.
Exactly.
They were enjoying themselves. They were jumping up, congratulating everybody, running. Somebody scored a touchdown, they go jump on their back and all that. And that's what football is. It's played, with a lot of emotion.
Right.
And it needs to be.
When you get to this point now of the season, we're into the playoffs, and like you said, everybody's 0-0. There's no records. None of that matters. There has to be a different mindset now because you can walk off that field on Friday night and all of a sudden it's over. And for especially our seniors, that can be that can be hard to deal with when all of a sudden it's probably their last game they're ever going to play.
And they really don't look like it. They don't think it's going to end.
Yes.
And that's the bad part. Then all of a sudden it's over.
Yeah.
And it don't matter what the sport. You get in the playoffs, you do that, and you play a game, and all of a sudden you look around and say, ooh, that's my last game. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of pressure now, especially, I guess, on the higher seeds. I've told the team all week, the first round games, playing somebody you're supposed to beat, 4-6 record, 4th in the region, all that stuff. But you've got to be ready to play now, and you've got to play up to your ability. You've got to make plays. You cannot have a bad night now. You have a bad night, and there's a good chance you're going to go home.
Yep.
So you've got to have that mentality. You got to play like that. You got to, every week, and you talk, you blue in the face. The kids don't see that because, this ain't going in now. This ain't going in this week or whatever, and it sure can.
Well, what do we expect from Marbury coming here 4-6 for the game?
They got a good defensive front. I think they're better on defense than they probably are on offense. They haven't scored a lot of points. They've been in a lot of close games. They've won some of them. They've lost some of them. They probably lost some games they probably should have won. Maybe have won a game or two they probably shouldn't have. Yeah. They just a hard-nosed team that's going to play hard and you're going to get their best shot because really, where they are, they've got nothing to lose.
Yeah. What about our region as a whole? How do you think things will go for our region against Region 3?
I think all three teams have a good chance of winning the top three. BC Rain will have a hard time with probably Demopolis.
Yeah.
But I think the other three teams have a better than 50-50 chance of winning. And and BC Rain would have to play really, really well to probably beat Demopolis.
To be on the road at
Yeah.
Demopolis. And how do you, when you look at it on paper, and you just said it, this is a game as the higher seed we're probably supposed to win. What are you telling the kids about we don't need to be worried about Greenville and Tallahassee, the winner of that game. We need to worry about this.
Well, exactly. I told them yesterday, I said, we'll find out Friday night who we play.
Yep.
Let's just make sure we're asking who we play. If we're, and that's the key thing. Let's just get through this game, do what we got to do, and they'll let us know, I'm sure, as soon as this game's over, who we'll be playing.
You mentioned it last week, and I think going into this week and hopefully further into the playoffs, quarterback Barton Elliott's starting to see the game a little bit better. I mean, heck, he goes in at halftime last week. He's 3 for 4, 2 touchdown passes. You can't get much better than that. He threw some really good balls last week.
Well, he did, and a couple of those, he got a little pressure and stepped up in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The second touchdown to Logan, that was a heck of a throw now, and he had to step up. And then the third one, he got killed when he let the ball go. So he's playing better and better. We're running a little more zone read with him. We're going to ask him from here on out. You can't really save him for the prom or whatever. So we will use his athletic ability, and he is a good athlete, to run the football a little bit more than what we've been doing up to now.
I said that last week. I said, here we are at the end of the season. It's time for Barton to actually have to run the football a little bit because no sense in saving him. Even though he's a senior, we've got to put his athleticism out there on display a little bit.
And we didn't even have the zone read in till last week.
Yeah.
And we said we're going to run a little bit this week, get him used to it, because as we go, we'll do a little bit more and more of it. And, when you spread them out in trips and spread and stuff, when your quarterback can run a little bit, that puts a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure on the defense. And I assume that means the playbook's pretty much wide open now. You can't worry about any of, holding anything back at this point.
Most of the trick plays are in. We'll put in a new one if we have to use them. We have not had to use one of them all year. And but pretty much the whole playbook's there, and you're going to do whatever you got to do to win. You don't look for tomorrow or save it for next year.
And as Coach Knapp will tell you, my favorite play, fullback trap. We need to use that one a little bit more.
We ran it once the other night.
Yeah, we ran it once the other day. All right, Coach, good luck. Hopefully we're sitting here next week doing this again. We appreciate it.
We do. We're doing the same thing now. We're week to week.
That's right.
We win, we'll be back, and the kids will be ready, and I'm sure they're going to give their best effort.
All right. UMS-Wright is 26-1 in first-round playoff games since 1994. The test tonight is the Bulldogs from Marbury High School. So let's take a break. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a minute. You're listening to the Bulldog Radio Network here on Sports Talk 99.5 Mobile, an iHeart radio station.